Hey everyone, welcome back. Haven't done one of these for a couple of weeks. I've actually been traveling. I spent the winter, sorry. Spent the winter in Spain, south of Spain, and then 2 weeks ago was driving back up to Germany, spending summer in Germany. But I'm currently over in Australia, visiting family right now for the next few weeks. So hopefully, I've just been back on the charts first day today. Haven't done any live trading for the last probably 2.5 weeks almost. So yeah, I want to before jumping back in my live account, want to refresh my brain, want to have a look at what's happened over the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to be running back testing for, I think the end of April and the start of May. And yeah, so then I get my brain refreshed. I'm all up to date with what's going on with local price action, and then I'll move into live trading as well and hopefully make a few videos of that. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to pretty much start all my videos the same. I'll start with my top-down analysis, and then I'll talk about which indicators I'm using, and then we'll get into it. And I'll back test. Yeah, pretty much I stick to the 4 hours and the 15-minute time frame. How I enter off 15-minute order blocks. Normally have my orders split between the 25 and the 50% line of the order block, which I'll explain when I'm setting up the first order. And yeah, I'm usually targeting the next 15-minute break of structure if it's counter 4-hour trend, or looking to go with the 4-hour trend to the next 4-hour area high or supply or demand. So yeah, it'll become a bit clear when I get in there and start going. I'll just explain right now. I'm using three what are called indicators. I've got this fractal, break, and balance, fair gap. It's just highlighting these imbalances here, just so they're clear for me. I don't take into account that much, but it's just good to be aware of as well. Gives a little bit of weight to, stronger areas of interest. Sessions, so I'm highlighting normally just the Asia, New York, and London. And then this is a new one. If you watched the last couple of videos, it's called Multi Time Frame Analysis. No, Multi Time Frame. Let me have a look. Multi Time Frame Break of Structure by C. Briggs. I think I can put in this comments, and yeah, it's really cool. You'll see it draws these lines here, which is pretty cool. So yeah, let's start with the top-down analysis. I'm going to draw these in myself as well, just so I have the lines there. So let's just look at the structure. We've got a nice break of structure here on the daily. Daily break of structure. And then set as unconfirmed high. I'll probably just put it as a daily high. It's a week high because, we're in an uptrend. This is a strong low. It's the last low that broke the high. If you know me, I like to keep it quite simple generally in terms of trading. Normally, if I'm going to, enter, I like to wait for it to come back to like the 50% line. However, from my back testing recently, I do really like if something comes, an entry off the last point of interest that led to a break, especially if we got imbalance out of here. So say this is, for the daily time frame, I would be looking for longs out of here. We've already obviously moved up. And then quite a big area of interest, so we'll probably reduce it. But yeah, so longs out of there as well to break this high if it's not broken already. I want to see where we're at. This was I think what I marked up last time. Yeah, we've just tapped into that area, this daily. Been talking about that daily for a long time, and we finally got a touch. So doesn't mean the market will reverse here, but it definitely can be a point of rejection that we could see a bit of a pullback. I don't think we'll see a big market reversal until we break these lows, and so that's a long way to go. So right now we're looking for longs, but it's the area of interest how I trade reversals. Either a 4-hour daily point of interest, and then a 15-minute shock, and then it's all valid for shorts. So let's get onto the 4 hours now. Yeah, sorry, I'm using a monitor, so I won't be looking at the laptop screen, which is recording. I'm going to be looking at the monitor most of the time. So so that's all good though. Perfect. So I've got these dailies marked out, but I think I'd probably reduce them to 4-hour areas just because it's such massive areas. It can be nice to leave the daily on there. Potentially, if we like coming back into it, we can check that again later. But I might leave this one on. We'll see, because we have touched it. So then we're aware that potentially that could be the pullback. Doesn't always have to come to these extreme 4-hour areas, especially not straight away. What I'll do, just so it makes sense for everyone. It's lagging a bit, but I can just speed that up. Oh, anyway, doesn't matter. We know that's daily. this big one. I'll mark it out now. Okay, we've got 4 hours, so you can see this is a pretty cool indicator, and I've backtested it quite a bit now, and I really do trust it. Pretty much always shows me what I want to see. It can get a little bit tricky on the 15-minute time frame when we do get such a big 15-minute range. So sometimes I actually do play around the 5-minute to just get some clarity, because range trading can be quite difficult, as we all know. But yeah, for now, I really, really like it. So I think I still recommend learning market structure yourself, but this can really speed up the process, and you want to really understand it. So yeah, we've got breaker structure, 4-hour breaker structure. So we've got a strong low, strong 4-hour high. I mean, a weak 4-hour high. That's a 4-hour. Realistically, yeah, we've sort of bounced out of it. So like I said, I really like to look at trades out of these flip zones. So what I class as a flip zone is the area, like I said on the daily, the last like consolidation that led to the breakout or breaker structure. Generally, I really like them if they've got imbalance above them as well. So yeah, this is like a perfect example. So I wonder if it holds. But there's definitely trades to be had out of these. And potentially, you know, it is a weak high, but I think it's definitely to be aware of when we've tapped into a daily, because we had like some mini 4-hour chock here. So there's nothing saying we couldn't come up, reject, get deeper, and then go. So I like to mark this out anyway, because this is the last sort of defense before where we have supply come into the market before we break the high. Okay, there's this. I'm messing around in. But yeah, I think we're ready to go on the 15. Okay. What do we got? We're in this 15-minute. Oh, that's where we left last time. Yeah, we're in this pretty tricky range actually. But yeah, we've made some new rules in terms of range trading. Just as when we were talking about that, you know, we're in an area where we can go long, but we're still in a 15-minute downtrend. So realistically, you can either not trade at all if there's confusion in the market, or you can trade as if both are possible. So you're long up to your short, and you're short up to your longs, and so forth. And you're eventually going to be wrong at least once when the breakout happens. So I think this was our last 15. So this would be our last potential short area. And see, this is what I mean. I'll let you know, like, see how we have this as a 15-minute structure. You don't always have to do this. I have been playing around with it a little bit because I don't jump on the low time frame that much. Let's see if it updates. Okay, interesting. You see. Oh, yeah. No, that's way too many. I don't need that. Usually go 3, I think. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, so we know. Let me just mark that up so you understand. So this is our 15-minute high. It's a strong high. Oh, no, I can't get that up there. It's a bit annoying. Anyway. And this is the 15-minute low. Okay. And yeah, so what I mean is now I'm on the 5-minute. We can see a little bit more structure in here that you could potentially trade the internal structure. You know, so we had that breaker structure. Okay, this failed. We've come to the extreme. We had breaker structure, and this low is held, breaker structure. This low is held, breaker structure. This low is held. You know, so this is the next low internally. But let's just stick to the 15 minutes for now. Essentially, we'll have a look. This was the last low that held after, let me see. Okay. Yeah, so no, it wasn't a 15 breaker structure, but it was a 5 breaker structure, but that has been working quite well this whole entire thing. So let's see here. This would probably be the next area to long from, and we know that we would be taking a short from here. internal bullish, external bearish. So there's arguments for both. So, normally if we didn't have arguments for both, this would be targeting the 15-minute low breaker structure. But because we've retraced for the 4-hour discount zone, we've had 50-minute shock and we're moving up in a bullish market structure right now. We'd be targeting just this area and looking for longs out of here, roughly 3.2. We'd really be, depending on what happens, looking more like that. So we might have to, we'd really have to see what price action does here. But right now, there's the only two trades I'm interested in. And yeah, let's get started. That took a little while to get into. Sorry, guys. Try to keep it interested. So we are in the short here. We'd be in both, like I said. Let me pause it. Like I said, I split my order between the 50 and the 25. I'm playing around right now doing some calculations on maybe like the 40 or the 45 to put both orders, because sometimes the 50 gets missed, but you obviously can get a better risk reward. Say we're here for both orders and splitting, one here and one here. But I'm still yet to get the numbers on it. So we'll just do it as I trade right now. So what do we got? Okay, Asia session. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Let's see. So it was looking pretty good. Let me have a look. I want to see if we want to go on to break even. Yeah, we would have. So how I manage my trades is generally at 3R, I go to break even. So yeah, both of these would have been break even. So let's just see. That's what I would like to do. So you have this. Okay, no fill on this one. So, and we've just got to delete that. I'm just going to do the tallies at the end, just because otherwise it gets really messy. Okay, we've just broken out. Let's move this. Let's have a look what we're looking for. Solid breakout. Guess this would be, really do like this area there, but this is a nice consolidation area. Okay, I have to have a look, see where we're at. Flip zone. And what, extreme down here still, I guess? Bit of a tricky one, because we've got, this could be considered the extreme as well, or the entire extreme. So that's when we get these big 15-minute ranges, it can be a bit tricky. If you are confused, go back and practice them, go back and back test them, see what works, or just sit out if you're too confused. It's not worth it. Okay. All right. So we didn't, pretty much what I'll do here, I'm going to delete this. And we've had now a breaker structure up here. So this, for me, I wouldn't take it. I think I'd probably take something like this. Oh. Let me have a look. We got the 4-hour up there. There's still potential. Anyway, probably to the edge of that, I would say. Unless we get there first. Okay. We got another break. I'm going too quick on that one. Let me have a look. We had the break. We're close to. Honestly, this would be that. They're very close to each other, but it's a strategy. So let's mark them both up. Okay. Looks like one's about to be stopped out, but have a look. That was similar. Okay. And we do similar on these. I'm taking off the 50% line because I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have enough risk reward on the other line. So let's see. Okay, we're in. Oh, yeah, we would have been in. There we go. Let's have a look. I think we would have been fine. Yeah, just took the low slightly. So, yeah, very nice. Delete this one. Delete this one. But yeah, it's pretty much any 15-minute breaker structure. I'm taking the flip zone and the extreme. You know, if the flip zone is the extreme, that's what we have to take. So, yep. Let's keep moving forward. We're now into the 4 hour. So obviously we could have aimed, you know, if you're very confident, you could take the high, but I really, you know, we're tapped into a daily supply. This is the last 4 hour supply. You know, there's I don't know, the probabilities can be against you trying to take the highs and you get it come all the way back on you. So let's see. Okay. I guess, yeah, I didn't mark out the last one. Let me just move this in. Just we're getting into the late night, so pretty much no trading until Asia opens. Just the liquidity is just so low. It's just not worth the slippage if anything does happen, because you do sometimes get crazy moves. We had. So there is a consolidation here, I guess. Yes. I guess that's true. Okay, this one, because this candle's high was lower than this candle's high and lower than this candle's high. So for me, that is a consolidation here. Target, I would just be targeting the 15-minute high at this point because we're so extreme. And there. Normally I would only mark out the next one, but I like to give you guys an idea of like what I'm looking at for a single leg. That's very nice, 5.4 for the 25, and so it must be pretty nice for that. 7.12. I probably wouldn't have the limits here. I'd see what happens over spread hours. You know, the next morning, see where it's at. You know, I'm trading a little bit of the Asian session. I haven't traded it, but I'm looking at potentially trading it a bit. Okay, we've just broken a high. Yeah, so we've got very minor pullback, which, you know, generally can be quite bullish, but also can mean that we're getting quite overextended and we're due for something pretty big to pull us back. Okay, Asia open here. I guess this potentially, if you're quick enough, you might have got entry on that. And yeah, you would have got an entry on the 25 here. If 1 a.m. it's pretty early. So yeah, maybe where in Australia, I could probably trade that one. But let's have a look. I'll mark these up just because I like to see if, you know, I don't really ever trade the Asian session, but now I'm over in Australia. I'm quite interested about it. So I'm going to mark these up and look if I can trade the exact same way. That if you're quick enough with the break, which, you know, really should have been, however, spread hours, it's a little bit of a risky trade, but I will mark it up just because I'm interested in trading the Asian session, and that would have been the Asia Open trade. So I want to gather some data on that because I'm going to be in Australia for the next month. So we could have, I guess, what would break, you know, really have to look at targets in Asian session because I think it trades slightly differently. But at this stage, I guess we would target let me have a look. So we would have got tagged into just the top one here. Pretty good trade, really. I think we're just trying to see where we are. Sorry again. If that ever loads. Okay, so we're inside a 4 hour, and okay, interesting. Let me just mark up 15. Yeah, we're inside a 4 hour, so target's going to have to be quite conservative. I think I'd probably follow this up with market structure on the 5 minutes or something like that. When you don't have a target, I do have exceptions for this. However, potentially I'm looking at us tapping into the daily again, which is where these crossover begins. Maybe that's the target. But let's just see how it plays out. It's something I want to gather on the Asian session because sometimes it can range quite a lot. So you have to be a bit more conservative with the targets. So let's see. All right. So pretty nice move in Asia. We've got a consolidation here. I'm going to mark it out. Doesn't look that. We've tapped into the daily again. There's this high that we're breaking. Let me just go on the 4 hours quickly. Hopefully I don't reveal anything. Yeah, no. 4 hour week high. I guess like theoretically we could have targeted the high. I had forgotten that was a 4 hour week high. But Asia Open, I think conservative, targeting us tapping back into the daily POI is a little bit better. Let's have a look at this. Got this. It's just a consolidation. So if Asia's going to keep being bullish, then, I think, let's see if it's enough R&R to target the high here. We probably have to go over the 50% if I'm not going to target the break of structure. I think I'm just going to target this high. Let's have a look. Oops, sorry. Okay. Yeah. Trying to think. We did double high. Like, what's this? Like a double top. That's what I'm trying to think of. I prefer when it sweeps, but in Asian session you tend to have a bit of these because it leaves that liquidity later for New York and London to sweep to take the highs. We'd still be technically in this, so I'm just going to see how this plays out. All right, so that'd be a stop out. Okay, so in this case, yeah, I'm not sure if I would have left that on after the double top and not getting tagged in straight away, but for these purposes, we'll leave it on just so I can write down in my journal later and manage it. So this is the open here. Be interesting to see a reaction we get out. I'd be trading this extreme now if we come back to it. So let's just see how the price reacts. Okay, I'm going to mark it up. Now, I was going to just see if it was worth my time marking up. I'm interested to see what it is showing as the low. Yeah, I think it's quite a big 15 range that it's showing all the way down here. So, yeah, sometimes that's a limitation to this indicator. When you get these big ranges and then there's breakouts, sometimes it's just, if you want to trade the internal structures, obviously this is still the external 15-minute leg, which is a fine. I'm happy to do that. But I also understand that there's, trades to be made within the internal. So that's why it pays to understand structure as well and not just rely on the indicators. But yeah, this would be my next trade. Let's stop. What do we got? 9 o'clock. Pretty sure that's when London opens. We'll be tagged in, I think, just. And yeah, we're targeting the highs. It's going to be interesting. See. Whoop, there we go. Be pretty rough. Yeah, let me just have a look. I wonder if I've made a mistake here. Maybe they've updated it later. I'm just going to turn this off for a second. What is this? So we have the high here. 670. 670. Okay. So it's pretty much equal highs. So, could have been treated as a double tap. I much prefer when it sweeps to liquidity, but it doesn't have to. So you could have treated this as a chock, and we could have had some valid. Looks like shorts were valid. We had a nice chock here, never got the retest, but then we had a sweep, another break of structure, and so this would have been our bearish. That's when it gets me a little bit. So I prefer to see a sweep of the highs. It doesn't always have to be, because you look at the change of character. We went from having like big white candles to big black candles, which is technically a change of character. So could have been, we're inside the daily POI. We could have been more aggressive with shorts. I'll just show you the opportunities. I won't mark them up now. But yeah, equal highs. Sometimes I feel like, okay, these could be run, but they don't have to be run straight away. So, instead of taking 2 losses and no wins, we could have been here with a short and rode that down. But yeah, let's see. So now, technically, if we don't count this first as a chalk, we've just had chalk here. And I would say I like this because it did sweep. It's like London Open type stuff. Let's have a look where we're going. I'm not going to now that we've got chalk, I don't have any long ideas yet. Let me just see with the 4 hour. This is a breakout. Okay, I'm going to bring this stuff in, so it just cleans it up a little bit. Broken. That was a break. So, areas we could be looking at for longs again here. It's a pretty big area, but technically it's the extreme because none of these just all look like liquidity to me. So let's just see. Nice tap into the last 4 hour POI, tap into the daily again. Got chalk. Maybe I should have been more aggressive with the shorts, but these equal highs can be a bit tricky sometimes. They just look like there's line liquidity there. So let's go. Mark that out, lost, but we, this one we had 7R almost. So, -2, still 5R in Asian session. Can't complain about that. So let's mark up this. Euro's been moving pretty impulsively down. So if you can get in at these areas here, let me just mark it up if we could have been a bit more aggressive with our shorts. You'll see I've got a little green line here because I'm experimenting with the 45. Just because sometimes the 50 isn't getting filled. Or, I'm thinking maybe I can put both orders on the 45 and, instead of having on the 25, because sometimes the risk reward is quite low. But you see here, these things, sometimes it gets tagged in just right on these areas. But yeah, something I'm experimenting with to get some data. So let's have a look. Pretty much what would be here for shorts. Okay, we've come back, cleaned up this. Where are we reacting out of? Still, it's internal chalk. I'm happy to take shorts out of here, personally. Let's have a look. Maybe down to here, the 4 hour. Okay. Got another break here. What we're interested, as always, on everyone, extreme, flip zone. Hope everyone all enjoys this. It's pretty cool to see the subs grow up to 62 now. Just really awesome. So yeah, give us a comment on any of these. Tell me what you want to hear, see any questions you have. I'm going to try and make a few more explainer videos. I really like to do the backtesting ones because they're just they give you a full outline of how everything works and how I trade this pair. And that you only really need to trade this pair, So, a lot of people try to trade too much because they get bored or whatnot, and they end up over trading and giving money back to the market. I got into trading obviously to build wealth, but also have that flexibility and freedom. So I don't want to be eventually I don't want to be sitting in front of the computer for 8 hours a day watching the charts tick over. But right now, while I'm learning and getting better, I think it's very valuable to be spending this time and back testing as much as possible. So look at that, nice flip zone entry. It's perfect. Love to see it. Sorry, I didn't put the. Got nice. Let's have a look here. Another nice point of interest. We're in this trade already. Both orders. See, we're just targeting front running this 4 hour POI. Alright. Oh wow. I don't know if we could have gone deeper. Well. We have hit 6R. Well, actually, it's even better because that was only 25. A 9R trade there. It's beautiful. This one, having a look. Yeah, not a big fan of this one, to be honest. Just because it didn't break structure. It's just a consolidation, so I'm not gonna trade that one. sticking to just flip zones like the ones that broke structure and the extremes. These consolidations do work for sure, but they can sometimes also be used as liquidity. So, okay. This is an interesting one. You would have to be quick. But wick, we had up, we had this break, we had retest of wick, and then down. Would have been like a tricky one, especially being in this 4 hour. So, it's hard to know where the target is. I probably wouldn't have taken it, to be honest. I would have seen, let this play out, or, maybe it's like, I'm not a big fan of taking trades entering at 5 p.m. Obviously would have played out. Okay, let's see. We've now taken, we swept the liquidity. Guess we've got, a pretty strong dump here. You can imagine if you're following this down with just 15-minute market structure, that you can either go look at 10. But I think it's good to have an idea of where you want to be. I do like some people I've talked to. They trade, they literally will short until they have a long opportunity, which means sometimes you can have your trades come back on you, and give away a lot of unrealized profit. So you just have to see what works for you psychologically. I'm experimenting with a few different types, but in my head I like to have like a set take profit to start with at least, because then I have an idea of I don't have to figure it out while I'm in the trade. As I get more comfortable and build more buffer on my my account as I'm trying to do, I will look at potentially going with lower time frame market structure, or just have an idea of managing that once it gets to my target and not actually having a set take profit there. But right now the set take profit works for me well, and yeah, I don't have to think about it. I just let the trade run. So let's go. Okay, it's not really anything I'd like to trade here, especially coming into this time of night, especially after we've swept some 4 hour liquidity. Okay. Got this. We've had a sweep here. We've had to close. Realistically, you could probably class this as a mini chop after that sweep. And so obviously it's retested there. I wouldn't be taking these trades coming into spread hours. So I'll wait until it's tested there. I'm going to wait till Asia opens and see what Asia opens does. Okay. Guessing that would probably be like the Sydney Open. Let me have a look. I'm more interested in this now that I'm over in Australia trading this pair. Yep, nice little sweep in Sydney Open of the liquidity in the. Okay. If we break this high, I'll probably use that Sydney Open as a POI for the Asia Open. So yeah, that's pretty nice. Pretty nice break there. Honestly, to be the safe side, if you wanted to, you could use the original chalk. It's always very safe. Then you're covering the lows, all that sort of stuff, just in case Asia wants to sweep some lows. But any highs and lows that get put in on New York, I'm very confident about those. They're very high probability trades. So let's just see. I want to play around with the Sydney Open, I guess they call it, or Australia Open, whatever. I guess the Australian Open is a tennis competition, but it's also. So yeah, look, even that, let's put in. We got the original chalk. It's held for the Sydney Open. If you want to be safe, I just take a trade off this original POI. But let's play around with the Australian Open and see. We'd have to have a look quickly. Targets. We have this first sort of, but not something I think will hold. Something up here probably. We got New York. Broke the last thing that actually broke structure. So let's see. Let's see if we get a sweep, but yeah, that's pretty nice. 12R. Okay, that was. Oh yeah, here we go. I think that was just Asia Open. Let me. Oh no, I think it's already happened. Let me just turn that. It's hard to see with the Sydney. Okay, so this is there. Then push down. We're in nicely here. Very interested. There's also another opportunity if we break this structure to go long. We'll just see if this actually holds. We could sweep the whole lot, but I do like this, So let's see. Okay. Unfortunately, we had the test of this. before we had the break. So I don't know, just tap the high. I'm going to experiment with the Asia session in terms of whether it's a good idea to do the flip zones, to take 2 trades of flip zones and the extreme, or maybe with Asia the extreme works better, or one or the other. But yeah, at the moment we're in this super nice sweep on Sydney Open, running at 3.5 R. It's pretty nice. This would be the first sort of target, I guess, and that's the next. So let's have a look. Yeah, any of these would be targeting the same place. Okay. Oh, look at that go. Such beautiful movement. I don't really like any of these. Okay, we got a nice sweep. A lot of volume came out of that. Okay. Yeah, 8 o'clock. That's the Frankfurt Open. So it's good to be aware of all these because it can give a bit of weight to it, Like without knowing this was the Sydney Open, maybe I'd be a bit more worried about it. And then, this is the Frankfurt Open. Otherwise, it's sort of in no man's land. We've now got one running at 9R. So I would potentially, you could take some profits when we hit this first consolidation because it is in New York. And then, close out fully up here. Something like that. If you're just trading, yeah, look at that. That's wonderful. That's awesome. It's 11, what was it like? Yeah, 12R. Crazy. And that's from, you trade an Asian session. Okay, let me have a look. So what you would have, getting in on the pretty much after, Tokyo Open, a little bit, maybe a couple hours, and you trade it through till London. So my time, it would have been, something like 7 a.m. You've held this trade till around 4 p.m., but, 12R is very, very healthy. Okay, so what are we looking at now? I'm back quite bullish. We've got our options. I probably wouldn't do this one anymore, but I still like the Frankfurt Open, so we keep it as is. Targets would probably be... Did we ever get 4-hour chalk? Just give us a second, sorry. Oh, wow, that's very bullish. We never had 4-hour chalk, so targets now would be probably liquidity, break the high, something like that. So let's go. Another really strong break. This is a bit of a risky play, this one, I would say. What do we got this? There's a little consolidation. There is this consolidation on the open, but pretty bullish. Oh, stop. Okay. So where did we hit? We hit back in this daily. Actually tap back in the daily. So I think with this break, as it was just a weak break and we would have engulfed, I wouldn't have been taking this considering the last three reactions out of this daily. It would have been, quite a risky trade. Interesting enough, we do have an argument for shorts. Obviously, last time we weren't so aggressive on the shorts. I think this time I'm happy to be considering the reactions. Okay. Thing is that we sort of just need a target. So I'm probably going to have to go up to 50% because, first target is, have a look. Realistically, possibly this. Yeah, so low risk reward, but let's see. We're in. What? Not looking great. There we go. So it was like a fake chalk this time. Perfectly valid, but yeah, losing trade. So, which happens. Oh, look at this. Imagine if you've held that all the way through. What are we at? 27R. So that's just the capabilities. If you got comfortable holding your trades, it's just it's incredible. That could be like literally a month's worth of profits in a day, which is pretty awesome. But you have to backtest it in terms of, because easily this could have dumped all the way down there and you've, given back all that. So you have to have some hard and fast rules, So maybe like what I'm exploring is that you're following up because you're entering on every 15 minute. So you're following up where your most recent stop loss would be, So, I would put my stop loss there when I enter that, or and so you'd put the stop loss, you move it up with the 15-minute market structure. So eventually on this sweep of the lows, you get stopped out. So you get a 15, almost 16 arm instead of your 12 doing this in this case. But yeah, it just depends on how you like to manage your trade. Plus, this is getting into like, if you're in, it's quite late at night now if you're actually over in the Asian and Australian time zones. So let's keep moving forward. Pretty nice, solid break of the highs. Well, nice. So it's giving us a little information. I'm going to move this over here because it was all fully mitigated. 4-hour high. Looks like it's massive sweep now on the 4-hour. So that has given away a little bit because normally we'd look at that as a 15-minute break of structure. It is a high risk in terms of that we've taken a lot of 4-hour liquidity. However, I'm going to move this just across a bit so it's not so, because there's actually two options here. And that was a losing or whatever. And the flip zone. Stream in the flip zone. I'd probably really realistically just take the extreme, just considering that we've taken a lot of liquidity and you feel like maybe it's going to have to come back for some liquidity. But, if the flip zone works out, the risk to reward could be wild. So we're just targeting the highs. So sorry about that. Let's have a look. Okay. I've seen these highs before, which used to get me because, they look like slope liquidity. But when they happen on New York, I treat them as more of a double top. So this actually calls for a short here, especially because we've now just come back in the 4-hour range. This is our daily high. We've come back in. So there's potentials for shorts and longs here, in my opinion. So this high is, they do it quite a bit in Euro. I think it's to trick people to think there's liquidity and so they don't short, and they just get left behind thinking, well, we're going to long and wipe out this liquidity, which potentially later we will. But I think it's it's quite interesting what market makers to do. So seeing that, both of these I would aim for. I'll draw them up anyway. Aim for just that. I have to do the 50% of this then. And shorts. It's a bit of a tricky one for the target. Oh, way too much. Bit of a tricky one for the target for the shorts. Realistically, that would be it. Just a 3.5. Small trades, but that's what happens when you're in this sort of situation. Okay. Bouncing around our stop loss. We took one loss already. Now we're in spread hours. Probably would have closed it out already before it got to there at like probably a break even, something like that. Just because it's a bit of a worry. You don't know with the spreads. Like here, it looks like it was okay, but you never know. Spreads can get pretty wild on the funded account, so it could easily mean a wick down and go up. I'm happy. This is a really good valid trade now, which I'm happy to take lower because this is like a strong shock on this. Okay, obviously we're ranging here, but the target for this would still be there. And the target for this shock, do you have like a 4-hour demand? Yeah, I would say here we cover all three of these. It's pretty big short, but the way this market's been moving, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes in. Okay, let's see if this long plays out anyway. I'll be very interested. I feel like that we would be just getting a nice big sweep of these lows, but I'm interested. Oh, well, actually, remember we were looking at that. I turned off. Maybe Sydney did already sweep the lows. Didn't really. There's still these lows here. I guess it swept some lows here and then broke structure. So I wonder if you're in Australia or Asia, you could try trading these Australia Open, Sydney Open, once it sweeps liquidity and get your break of structure. I'm very interested to see how this plays because this might be a new setup for me for the next month. Oh, I'm just going to copy this across. Oh, what? Guys. Again, I'm looking at targeting this. And let's see. I'm interested. This plays out again. This could be a... Oh, wow. Have I just discovered something for Euro USD? The Australia Open sweep and then the Asia Open tag in trendy markets. Maybe. More data will be necessary, but I was just ignoring all this before, but now it's affecting me, so I'm very interested in it. I'm sure anyone that trades Asia or Australia sessions would be too, so I might focus on this. Oh, what am I doing? Been a busy week. Lots of traveling. I think I'm still a bit jet lagged, but doing all right with it. I'll survive, first world problems. Okay. We do have what you could almost consider a flip zone as well. See how we've got this high over that high. This is sweep. This is a very nice candle here. Part of me wants to reduce this down to these lows. Let's see. I reckon this is going to hold, but I'm just going to keep with this big candle. Maybe we get tagged in anyway. Yeah, look at that. Oh, I knew it looked so good. Let me just mark that up. Because, I mentioned it before it happened. So I would actually, from now on, when it's got something like this is a really nice candle with the sweep, the lower high. That's like one that led to the break of structure as well. Okay, we'll move this up. I even got it on 50% too. Very interested to see what that risk to reward would be. If it plays out, very nice. Look at this. If this plays out 10 and 9, and this is like Asia session trading for 19R. It's insane. Do I speak too soon? It's too soon. Oh man, that's hilarious. Okay. Well, we rejected something here. That's stretched. We would have been. I'd have been sad. We would have been break even on that because we go break even at 3R. We're still in this. It would be at break even, so we'd still be in. But we've now had like a chock. We've had big chock with this sweep. Sorry, I was seeing if it was going to push back up. So realistically, we should be in this. Let me mark the chock out so you know what I'm talking about. Last 15 minutes, break of structure. Got this chock, solid chock. Got this big sweep before the chock. We'd be tagged into it. Wherever we're targeting, I'm not too sure. Probably just a break of the lows. Obviously, a lot of liquidity here. It's definitely something to be aware of with these, with the London Open. Obviously, that's what I might need to figure out with these Asia sessions is, because we tend to get London loves to sweep Asia. So if you've gotten in late, it can be quite risky. Obviously, this one can still play out, but maybe definitely look at if you're in nice profit. I'm gonna have to find the data on it. If you're in nice profit when coming up to London Open and you trade in Asia, maybe it's a good time to close out. So we would have hit TP on that, which would we even taken that for 2.98? I don't know. I'll point out something quite interesting here. We've got a sweep here, we've got that, and then like the original chock, and it was in New York. If this holds, it's something I've noticed. Even if you get muddled up in all this, we've swung all this liquidity. This is the low, that led to a chock. This can be quite strong to like push us back up. So I'm gonna mark it out because this is a classic like sweep, do another break of structure, but hold this low, and then we start moving back up again. It happens quite often. So I wouldn't actually look to take a short now, even though it can be valid. You just know this sort of type of movement. I would have hopefully been long here again. Or maybe I would have waited for the chock out of here or something like that. So let's just see. Oh, maybe I was wrong. I was very wrong. So we could have had this. All right, would we have, what is this? GDP growth rate. Not sure if we would have traded that news, to be honest. I guess we had this break of structure. So yeah, it would have been a valid POI, even though I said I've seen this pattern before, but I was trying to predict the market too much. But it would have been quite a tricky, because we would have had this sweep, and then we would have had a big sweep here. So I'm not sure if I would have, with this market movement, I'm not sure if I would have traded this red news, because we could easily just pump through it and it's not worth the slippage. However, now we have quite a nice, usually on these big candles I just take, I take a whole, yeah, and then I'll just go 50%. Okay. Let's have a look. This was our target. Okay, let's pause for a bit. We haven't touched the 4 hour. I think this is an old 4 hour. Let me just clean up my chart a little bit. It's getting a bit messy. Yeah, so this is the new 4 hour. This is the old 4 hour. I'll move it across here. And so I'm still happy for it to come down into that 4 hour before anything happens. Okay, I would still take this, considering it was put in on New York for Asia session. Okay. Well. Didn't really have a chance. They had the sweep. Didn't get the break of structures with then. Haven't got the high. A lot of liquidity above this Asia high. Not really any clear trades on Asia right now, unfortunately. Okay. I guess there could have been one continuous one here. Continuous trade. So this is what I'm going to mark these out. I know it's in hindsight, but it's just because I just never really paid that much attention to Asia. So I now really want to see if it trades the way I want it to. Thing is, I think the targets just really have to be adjusted, to be honest. So we'll be in. Pardon me. And because this was the other, because we had this chalk. This was there. Sweep the lows. Break the structure. Then we had this nice chalk. That was that, and then we had a nice consolidation. Technically you would target the lows. But we're now at Frankfurt Open. So look at this. This would have been another entry on it. A lot of wicks. I probably would have closed that manually before Frankfurt Open, but let's have a look. Yeah, look at that. Crazy. Yeah, that's London Open right there. Realistically, you'd probably be in this one too, if that's what you're trading. That was the cause of the chalk. Let's have a look. Yeah, if you probably would end up break even, or if we close manually out Frankfurt Open. I'm gonna have a think about how to trade this Asian sessions and London Open. Pretty nice entry here. Would be a bit risky. Could potentially see the high being taken, but a lot of liquidity already been taken, so we'd just be targeting, I think, the break of the low. Yeah. Beautiful. Even further, we've touched hit this 4 hour, which was the ultimate target before. Okay. Okay, what are we in? Friday afternoon. That if you're quick enough with the break, which really should have been, however, spread hours, it's a little bit of a risky trade, but I will mark it up just because I'm interested in trading the Asian session, and that would have been the Asia Open trade. So I want to gather some data on that because I'm going to be in Australia for the next month. So we could have, I guess, what would break, really have to look at targets in Asian session because I think it trades slightly differently. But at this stage, I guess we would target the. Let me have a look. So we would have got tagged into just the top one here. Pretty good trade, really. I think we're just trying to see where we are. Sorry again. If that ever loads. Okay, so we're inside a 4 hour, and okay, interesting. Let me just mark up. 15. Yeah, we're inside a 4 hour, so target's going to have to be quite conservative. I think I'd probably follow this up with market structure on the 5 minutes or something like that. When you don't have a target, I do have exceptions for this. However, potentially I'm looking at us tapping into the daily again, which is where these crossover begins. Maybe that's the target. But let's just see how it plays out. It's something I want to gather on the Asian session because sometimes it can range quite a lot. So you have to be a bit more conservative with the targets. So let's see. All right. So pretty nice move in Asia. See where I left off. Sorry, I was watching at the end of the last section that I recorded. I think I was getting pretty sleepy. I think I still got a bit of jet lag. So try to bring a bit more energy to it now. So pretty sure what I was saying was, this would have been like break even or closed out before London. Especially, it likes to sweep it. I'm going to have to run a bit more data and see what's actually the best option for this here. But yeah, here we had, last consolidation or the extreme. Potentially, we could have left this here as well. But after the chalk, they are still valid because we can often see that London will take the high. So in this case, depending on like what you think, maybe you can risk entering this and wait for some sort of indication on low time frame for that. Or split your risk between these two just in case we do get a sweep. Just depends on your risk appetite. So yeah, we would have hit target on this one. This one maybe stopped at break even or we closed out manually, depending on what we saw. And yeah, I think we're Friday morning, so we've got a bit of news here that we'll take into probably not the euro stuff, depending on how close the price action is to it. But yeah, let's see. They're not like high impact from my understanding. So we've got here. Okay, this is essentially if we're going to go. We've been trading internal structures. Realistically, let me zoom out a bit. So we had that break, pushed up. However, it does say, I'm just going to have to see how it looks on the 4 hour. It looks to me like a huge sweep of liquidity. So that's where I override this sorts of stuff, Okay, so on the 15-minute, this is an extreme here, which we normally, we broke structure here, which we would normally take a risk entry out of. However, due to the fact that this is a huge 4 hour, okay, unconfirmed, but looks very bearish liquidity sweep, we're an internal bearish structure. I guess it would just be in terms of, from that, putting that together, especially out of a daily zone. For me, this is pretty risky. What am I doing? Let's see. This would be like another internal major break. Okay. This is the external 15. However, it's a big 4 hour sweep. Probably wouldn't. Yeah, it is valid, but I think just understanding the multi time frame analysis can really help you here. I could be wrong. I could be silly not to take this long, considering. But I'd like to see maybe some sort of chalk out of it just due to that huge liquidity sweep. So otherwise, I don't really. It's not really that much. There's this huge wick up here. This is sort of the last consolidation. This is This is pretty much the flip zone and the extreme. Don't really like how big that is. So we'd probably take it off to 50%. The thing is with the targeting for these, because we're now in the extreme zone of the bullish leg, like we talked about yesterday, we have arguments for going both. We're externally bullish, we're internally bearish. So would our longs potentially just be quite conservative in this case if we did want to risk it? Like maybe we get a bounce, but just into our, is there enough in there for us? Only 2.5. I wouldn't take this. I'm going to mark it up. And then I guess with this one, depending if we mitigate this first, then I would say we take the low. If not, I'm going to see how this reacts out of this point of interest here. Okay. Let's see if there's something in this. I think if we're looking at this. Okay, let's go a little bit. Yep. Okay. Even to like sweep these lows. Yeah, 3.7. There's enough in that. Just if we take these lows first. Oh, no, not filled. Okay. Another break here. Would be entered into this. We'd remove this. Not really that keen on any of these anymore. Just because, we'd be getting bullish chalk. So we've got this. Really, our next is here. The thing is that we'd be tagged into this, which is it'd be more like a hedge. So once it gets tricky down to the extremes. But I guess we'd have to, for making this one work, it'd be almost a hedge. I don't know if you'd take a full risk on it. You'd probably just cover your long. And then you just keep your long open if that's the case. Like one of them would lose, and we'd, be very unfortunate if we swept and come back down. But at that point, I think we'd move our long to break even. But let's see what happens. Oh, okay. Classic. Let me look on the lower time frame. What happened there? That happened really quick. I wonder if we would have got this short. Yeah, so it would have been in, and if we were quick enough watching this, I think we would have. We probably would have ended up break even, or I don't know. We probably would end up with a loss, but a very quick win of 5R. So you're happy to take the loss. Glad it happened that way. So we would have been tagged in, hopefully. Take profit as we got swept out of this one. So we got one loss, win, and now let's move this in here. Okay, this bit of a mess. Sorry, guys. But I hope it's clear. Nice sweep of the lows. Not really interested in this. Could be alright. Could hold. But we've now sweeping some liquidity down the bottom. We've now had a bullish chalk and bullish 4 hour, and so longs look pretty good. We got a big, I would say this is like the candle we look at. It's pretty big, but let me zoom out. I reckon this, we've got unmitigated, mitigated, unmitigated. This is New York. I'd say, we'd be, if we're going long, we're targeting that for conservative targets, but we have to get in on 50%, I think. I don't think because it's such a big point of interest, I don't think the 25 would be. Yeah, we've only just got over 3. Yeah. So yeah, definitely the 25% is not going to work. So let's see what happens. Okay. Well, pretty much hit our target for this long. But I'm moving this. I'm not taking these shorts. I think if there's any short that I would take, it's this one up here. Due to the fact of this is a huge liquidity grab on the 4 hour. So potentially, unless we're going bullish, this extreme can hold. Whereas after chalk, after another break of structure, I really like this, and I would target somewhere around here. Maybe I cover a bit of the imbalance below, just to front run it a bit. Maybe this high, this old high is a good target because we don't have to reach into this, and it would be pretty unfortunate to have price all come back all the way on us. Let's see, long. It's pretty nice. I think we could probably split so we'd split on this one. Wonder if we get filled in at 45. I'm interested. What's the time we're in? Yeah, coming in the weekend. I'd probably delete this order, really. It's a Friday night, nearly 10 p.m. We could just really, there's no reason. No market's going to. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so there, we're done. Yeah. Okay, so this is actually still a valid setup going into the next week, so we'll see. I'm going to backtest the week after as well, because these are 2 weeks I missed, and hopefully just do the week gone. So yeah, let me go through it. I'm going to get the results, actually. So I'm going to delete this one for now. Loss, okay. Let me go. Hold it. 6. Break even, 4. Let's have a look at the 2.5s. 3, 9, 3, 9, 15.5, 15.5, 27.5, 28.75, 36.75. Okay, now we go to 5.5, 5.5, 14.5. Oof, that's a pretty good one. Well, I can't even think right now. 22, 32.5, 44.5. The reason I split this up, because this would have both the orders, whereas these are half orders each. So it would give you a different percentage. So 0.5 only, 3.25 and 5, so 8.25. And so how I work is I split my my risk between these two. So I add them up and halve them by 2. So we got 70, pretty much 80, so 40. But then this is the whole one together, so we get 48%. So yeah, that's a pretty awesome week. Heaps available, so that's really amazing. So yeah, not bad at all. It's good to see. Get my eye back in. Haven't traded for 2.5 weeks, so nice to get my eye in. So always be aware. Look at this. We could have been more aggressive on some of these shorts, and maybe we're too aggressive here. But that's, I think, what we got. I think from my standpoint, I should have been aggressive here. I think the double top over here was a bit confusing for me, but it did tick all my reversal boxes. So that's when I'm happy to would be long on the 15, but looking for shorts as well if we get that 15-minute shock. But yeah. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'm going to pump out the next couple days. Hopefully, finish back testing for 2 weeks ago and last week, and make a few videos about the indicators and everything like that. And like and subscribe. Subscribe to my Telegram as well. Reach out if you want to know anything at all. I'm pretty much trading every day. I'm a little bit busier in Australia at the moment, but I'll be back in Europe start of June, roughly. Not too sure, but yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and see you guys in the next one.